Kimyos, the strongest species and heart of Ordeal, a webtoon created by Brent Bristol, and today I will be explaining everything we know about them. To start off, what exactly are Kimyos? Kimyos are 1/3 of the world's population. They are humans whose DNA evolved, giving them minor enhancements in strength, endurance, and regeneration. But that's not all, they also develop special abilities called talents. They develop these talents through their bodies naturally manifesting chi, an energy emitted by their race. Fun fact, someone actually doesn't need to be born a Kimyo to actually become one. There are in fact 3 ways to become a Kimyo outside of being born one. Talent transfer, which requires someone who is already a Kimyo to mentally pass their talent onto a human and can only be done before death because it's very fatal. An example of this is Leo Thomas transferring over the Iliad state over to Che heart before his death. This is often done by Kimyos to keep the powerful talent within the bloodline, like the Hemlock family or the Hart clan. Another way is talent extraction, which is illegal in the world and is a forced, non-willing way to remove talents from Kimyos and is also fatal. And the final way besides from being born one is object possession, where talents develop consciousness and manifest in objects instead of the human. And whoever holds these objects will be able to use his talents. This method is also extremely rare. We see Andrea Thomas use these objects as her main way of fighting. And yes, if you were thinking about it, some talents are sentient, like Hasame, the pride of the Hart clan. While speaking about talents, they can also be separated into many different types, or even combined with different types. These types are toxic, which transform chi to make it poisonous to others; void, which allows someone access to a dimension; warp, which allows someone to distort time, space, or matter; state, which allows someone to power up to a form that grants them special abilities; support, which focuses on protection or healing; range control, which can control matter from long range; range, which can create various projectiles for ranged attacks; psychic, which manipulates objects without physical touch being needed; shift, which changes the form to gain access of all or some traits of animals; haste, which increases speed; high, which creates a shell of chi around the user and protects the user or adds new attributes; control, which manipulates objects or creations from their talent; corrode, which decreases, increases, or reverses the natural decaying of something; kinesis, which creates protrusions on the body; power, which increases physical strength; elemental, which controls one or more of the elements on the periodic table; and lastly, creation, which creates new matter. Out of all talents, there are 4 that are slightly greater than the rest. The great 4 powers, which were actually wielded by 4 brothers, the first Kimyos, each having a great power. Ilios having power over the sun, Katiga over the storms, Okinos over the oceans, and lastly Thanatos, the eldest brother, who had power over life through death. They were seen as gods in their time, with everything they could ever need, but Ilios, KT, and Okinos led war against their brother Thanatos. He was trying to take over the world and kill humans. So they fought in a mighty battle, and once they all had died, their powers continued to pass on to other individuals. In the presence of the series, some talents with the same tendencies as Thanatos are actually deemed too dangerous and leads to individuals with those talents being locked up in Patmos, a prison for Kimyos made by Code, a group of people trusted globally to protect Kimyos and handle all affairs of them. This is the same group of people that also handles the backlash that Kimyos receive. Yes, even though Kimyos are 1/3 of the world's population, humans still fear them, and that leads to discrimination. So much so that civilian Kimyos are actually forbidden to use their talents in public. Humans aren't actually fully in the wrong, since there was a war between Kimyos and humans. If you want me to fully break down this war, like the video. But as a quick summarization, with the rise in the population of Kimyos, a few of them wanted to take advantage of their power and wipe out the human race. So they started attacking, and the humans and the Kimyos who wanted peace waged war against the rebellion, and the war lasted 124 years, from 1833 to 1957. After the war, the Kimyos were segregated, but eventually that was no longer. But still, hate and fear lingers in humans. And this is all there is about Kimyo so far. If you want more content about Ordeal, just like, comment, and subscribe.